Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sadie and Shawn Have No Friends. And we hope you're going to have a great day today, Shawn. You know what? Every time I schedule a show to go live, I somehow mess it up. It just like the link doesn't upload, so yesterday's episode. I don't even know why I'm telling this story. It's stupid. Came out later yesterday, but today, bright and early. How are you, Shawn?
I'm having one of them days where I got up late and had a meeting, and so I had to leave my house in a hurry. And sometimes some things have to take a sacrifice when you
Yeah,
have to go. And today
yeah.
it was brushing my teeth, which is really gross,
You're
but
such
I
a
was
liar.
really late,
You are
and
such a liar. You did not brush your teeth.
so there's some fuzz on my teeth. They feel fuzzy. You
Look
ever
me in
have
the
that?
eye and tell me that you didn't brush your teeth.
I brushed my teeth like late last night, so that almost counts as this morning.
No, it
I did swish the
doesn't.
mouthwash around. I was so late, and this was a meeting I couldn't be late to.
Oh, Shawn, I love your stories. Thank you to our show sponsor, Cristiana Salon and Spa. They're in Johnstown, Colorado. And all you have to do is just go in and say, Sadie and Shawn have no friends. Mention the podcast somehow. You're going to get 10% off. And they do everything. And Shawn, what
I'm
should
a
we talk
teeth guy
about?
too.
I
Like
can't believe you
it's
didn't
hard
brush
for
your
me to admit this. I this is probably the first day that I haven't brushed my teeth in since I was in middle school. But it was
So are you weird around people? Because when we first logged on, you were talking to someone, and I gotta wonder, was he like, yeah, let's wrap it up. This guy got stank breath.
I got some mints in my pocket. And
Okay.
I used mouthwash, which I don't know if you've read this, but they say that mouthwash can be as effective, especially with bad breath, as brushing your teeth
Yeah.
because
Yeah, but
it's like a
mouthwash,
stronger.
do you scrape your tongue too?
I mean, with when I brush my teeth, I guess I could have scraped it with my teeth, but I don't know if I did or not. I was in such a hurry. It was like take a big swig of it, swish it around my mouth while I was getting my backpack and grabbing my water bottle and out the door and just spit it in my yard.
Why were you so late today? What happened?
I'm tired. I've been busy lately. And
No, you
last
have
night,
been
Shannon
so
wasn't feeling
busy.
well. I thought she left me in the middle of the night. I woke up, and I don't wake up in the middle of the night very often, but last night I woke up at 3 a.m. and the door, our bedroom door, we always close it, and it was like cracked open and there was a bright light shining. And so I was like, what's going on? So I thought maybe one of the kids had come in, but I looked and Shannon wasn't in bed. And so I
Oh.
went hunting the whole house for her and I couldn't find her. And I was like, shit, she's got a boyfriend and she left me to go be
And
with her
wait, what
boyfriend. And
time
I
was this
I
at?
caught her 3 in the morning.
Oh yeah, that's prime boyfriend banging secret time, I'm
I
sure.
mean, if
Okay.
she was gonna bang a boyfriend, it would be the perfect time to do it because I'm usually sound asleep. But I woke up for whatever reason and I hunted the house. I instantly went to the basement. I don't know why, because the lights were all on. So I was like, well, maybe
What?
she went to the basement. She's banging her boyfriend down there. So I went, nothing. And so
She
then I
doesn't
went to the
even
main level, nothing. And I was like, well, shit, she wasn't upstairs where our bedroom is. And so I looked around, and so then I opened the bedroom door, and she had built like a sleeping bag on the bathroom floor. And I was like,
No.
I turned the light on because I didn't know she was in there, and she's like, "Whoa, I'm sick. Can you close the door?" She was sleeping in the
She was
bathroom.
throwing up?
I guess.
So now are you afraid of getting that? Because anytime I'm around someone who's just had the pukes, I become a complete psycho about like, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. They're gonna barf and barf and barf, and I'm gonna end up getting it.
All
So
night, that's all
you
I could
might
think
be
about.
getting it.
I was thinking about it all night from 3 a.m. until when I had to get up. And then, of course, it never fails when you have a bad night's sleep and you can't fall asleep, like an hour or 45 minutes before you have to get up. That's when you finally pass out hard. And so I was passed out hard, and then my alarm went off and I kept hitting snooze. And next thing you knew, I was really late and I wasn't able to brush my teeth. And now I'm not just worried about getting the pukes, I'm worried about my yard because I spit mouthwash in my yard. And I don't know if that kills grass. And I've done so good at taking care of my grass this year. And if I just ruined a big patch of my grass with my mouthwash, I'm gonna be pissed.
That's gonna be a great story, though. They'll be like, "Why is that there?" And Sean's like, "I didn't brush my teeth one day on the way to work." What? Oh,
Shannon went to work this morning though, so that's a good
that
sign
is
that maybe it was
baller.
just like a food thing. Her and Shay had like a little date night last night where they went out and after we ate dinner, they went and got some dessert. And so maybe it was just bad dessert.
Oh.
That's what I'm
Shay
hoping
didn't
for.
get sick at all?
I they're teenagers. They sleep in. She's still probably sleeping.
Okay. Well, it's funny you say that because last night Ryan's like, let's go to Texas Roadhouse. We just randomly get these hankerings for Texas Roadhouse. And I'm like, you know what? I'm so scared because my sister and her family, husband, children, they just went there and one of them got such bad food poisoning for like 3 days, like lost 10 pounds, just barf and barf and barf and
But
barf.
only one of them?
Yeah, and I don't know, but I think she had food poisoning, and then they said, "We think it was Texas Roadhouse." Now, probably, maybe it wasn't Texas Roadhouse, but now I have that burned into my brain where I am like so last night I was like, "Oh, I don't know, should we go somewhere else?" No, we went to Texas Road I was fine. I don't think that food is so good, I don't think I could be stopped. I'd be like, "I'm gonna roll the dice on this just for the bread and
The bread and the
the
cinnamon
bread and
butter. That's
butter."
it's I got sick off of that one time because I decided that I was gonna show everybody that I could eat a lot of that, and I think I ended up at, like, 17 of those rolls, and it made me sick. That was not food poisoning, and it was not Texas Roadhouse's fault. It was my own fault, but I don't recommend it because it wasn't fun.
So did you just leave the restaurant and just Ralph
No,
everywhere?
I wasn't sick until when we got home, luckily.
You were like, "Uh-oh, I think I've made a mistake."
Yeah, I made a big one. I don't eat 17 rolls anymore. It has curbed my roll problem at Texas Roadhouse though, because I know every time that was years ago. That was 10, 15 years ago. And I still think about it every time I go there. And instead of even eating like four, I'm like, man, I remember how sick I was from 17. I'm
Mm.
only gonna eat two. And it helps.
Yeah, that's true. If you get sick off of something, like I was at a party one time and we were sitting at a table. We didn't know each other at this time, but it was people that you know, and we're all sitting around the table and we start passing around, and I'm the only girl, but I'll tell you one of the people, Stu, our boss, was one of the people, and Scott was one of the people, and our friend Big Rob was one of the people and we just sat around this table and passed around a tequila bottle. And I mean, like, these are men that can drink. And I am like a wuss. And I ended up at at the person's house. I ended up getting so drunk that I accidentally walked through the screen door and broke it and then vomited everywhere. 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 I was so sick, and now the smell of tequila, like, it just blah. I don't like it, I can't do it anymore. I just can't. Like, Cooper cannot eat at Subway because when he was little, he got the stomach flu or he got food poisoning, and now that's like a never again thing.
I know there's a lot of people like that, and there's been instances for me where I've had some foods or some alcohols that have made me sick, and then I can't do it for a while. But I'm at the point now where I'm good. I think I've been sick on every alcohol there is,
And you're
and so
well, when are you gonna stop, though?
I don't get sick on it anymore. I haven't. The last time I got puked from being drunk was a long time ago, a long, 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 long time ago, and so like I'm good. I'm good now.
Really? I feel like I went through a phase in my mid to late 30s where I would drink until sometimes I'd throw up. And then one day I was like, this isn't fun because I mean, it's fun because booze, and we've talked about this before, is such a social lubricant. Like there are times where I have to have a drink because I'm around so many people and what am I supposed to say? And I always am so awkward. And so sometimes I'll have a drink just to kind of not be psycho. But I used to really drink. I used to really like that feeling. And then slowly it just didn't work anymore. I started getting terrible diarrhea for days on end. And then I would get like super anxious. I had this weird thing when I drink that I was so afraid I'd wake up the next day and there would be this is so morbid and I don't know why I would think this, but I would always have this fear that what if there's like an empty bottle of Tylenol next to the bed? And while I was drunk, I was just like, I'm gonna just take all this time. That was a legit fear of mine. So I
Yeah,
would
you
go
had a
around
problem.
I
You
would
had
go
a if
around
you
the
were drunk enough to eat a whole thing of Tylenol, you were
No, what
drunk.
I'm saying is I never did, but then every day, listen to me. I will say that is pretty rare now that I have a drink. It's really not my thing anymore.
I don't even know why I do. I was thinking this the other night. Like I had a beer when I was at Cheyenne Frontier Days. One beer. I don't get a buzz off of one beer.
I
I don't
know.
enjoy the taste of beer. Like I'm not one of those guys that's just like craving a Coors. And so I would rather have a Sprite, quite frankly. And I don't know why. Like, why am I doing it? It's not helping my social anxiety. I need to have four, but I'm also like, there's no real good gray area for me where I'm just in that zone where I got a good buzz going on, but I'm not too drunk. Like for me, it's either I don't have a buzz at all or I'm hammered and now I'm saying stupid shit. And so I just need to stop drinking.
And walking through screen doors in front of all of your coworkers and then
Tequila with me at work.
projectile vomiting everywhere.
I told my tequila story like on episode 1 or 2 of this podcast, which is 120 some episodes ago. So I'll remind you of mine. But I was an intern at the radio station, a different radio station that you and I didn't work at together. And the boss was a very gay man who had a crush on me very clearly. And I had no experience in radio whatsoever. I wanted to get into radio and I decided that I was going to play off the crush a little bit. And so I was like dropping my drink tickets in front of him all night and like being flirty back because I really wanted a job at the radio station. And anyway, he
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
wanted to
whoa,
do
whoa.
tequila. There's no questions to be asked here. And so uh,
I
I,
know this person.
yes, you know this person well. You know exactly who it is. And so he wanted to do
You
tequila
whore.
shots all night because I think that he thought that if he got me drunk enough because I was being flirty, but I was doing it very, very calculated. But he
Yeah.
thought if he got me drunk on tequila, maybe he thought he had a chance. I don't know. So we started doing shots of tequila. And towards the end of the night, it's at this place called Rodizio too. It's
That's
one of
not
those
good.
Brazilian steak places where they give you unlimited meat and they cut it at your table. And you get so full at these places. So my stomach was so full. We're doing tequila shots. And then the last tequila shot comes and they had run out of shot glasses. So they just washed the glass and it was hot, like burning hot. And then they put tequila in it. I was full, done a lot of tequila shots, and it got to
And
like
then
right here and it wouldn't go down. I could not. It was just stuck there.
wait, you were in
And
front of everybody?
it was burning hot. There was only like 4 of us left at this time, but I couldn't get it down. And so I was looking for a napkin and couldn't get it and it all over the table. Now, luckily, it wasn't like puke. It was like it was the tequila shot with
Yeah.
maybe a little bit of like mucus that
Whatever's
was
in
in my
there. Yeah,
throat,
phlegm and stuff.
but
So
it
then did
wasn't
he
my
still wanna
finest
bang you
moment.
after that?
No,
Like,
he quit wanting to bang me, which was good. I think it happened for a reason. I think this was God's way of saying you're not a homosexual and you don't want to get banged by this guy tonight to get a radio job. And so turn him off somehow. And so
or
puke all
maybe
over the
if it
table.
wouldn't have been for the hot glass, magic could have happened that night. You could have
No.
discovered something about yourself that you didn't know, but that
Well,
damn person washed the glass.
I'm very thankful for fate. And I puked and I, I mean, I did get the radio job, so
You
it
did,
all
and
worked.
look at you. You've thrived in it, and you just had to suck some dick, but, it's fine. This is the
I
biz,
wo- I wonder what would have happened without that night and those
Sean,
tequila
and
shots.
what's even more troubling
Right.
is you cannot tell people no. It's like your kryptonite,
Oh,
and
I
so,
can in
oh,
certain
I don't
situations.
know. I think that if you were backed into a corner, slightly drunk, maybe it's like a big
Stop.
celebrity. No, I think you'd let it touch your nose and then see
N
where it goes from there.
no,
Well,
that's a hard no for
okay.
me.
Well, so anyway, where do we go from there? My God.
That's my tequila puking story. But I that being said, I still drink tequila to this day. It's actually the only alcohol, like hard alcohol that I wouldn't say I like because I don't like any of it, but it's tolerable for me. To me, vodka tastes like rubbing alcohol. Whiskey
Yeah.
tastes like wood
I
mixed with
usually do vodka if I'm gonna have, but I
it tastes
also
like rubbing alcohol. I honestly don't get the intrigue in vodka whatsoever. And there's some people that will drink it on ice, just plain, and it
They're
legitimately, like,
pretending. They're
it's full.
pretending.
There's no way you like
There's
that.
no way anyone likes that. Shut up. But, we have talked before about how people order like an old fashioned or whiskey. Ryan drinks whiskey with water. And I'm like, what? Ugh. But if
It
we go
makes more sense
somewhere,
to me because there's, like, flavor. I get the flavor profiles in whiskey, like, you can taste the wood, and some
yeah,
people like that smoky sort of wood flavor, and,
I
like, you
don't
can pull
know.
out some
That's
of
like
it has,
eating
like,
wood. Do you want to
fruit.
eat wood? I've never like smelled something and been like, wood, I want to drink it.
I still wanna know, like, too, like, just being honest, who discovered out like, who decided that they were gonna make wheat go rotten, and then, like, "Hey, we'll eat it. It's rotten. We should drink it."
And then they're like, you know what? Let's put a lemon zest in this. And then all of a sudden you got these craft beers popping up everywhere. But it is true. I'm always shocked at like who figured this out for the first time. Like who figured out that you milk a cow, but you do not milk a bull? Like who was the first one to be like, I tried that yesterday and let me tell you how awful it went. And and then it became like a thing. Like who are all these first time discoverers?
You know what I'm thankful for? That
What?
somebody didn't decide that we should, like, ferment or however you take milk and turn it into cheese, that they didn't do that with human milk. Because imagine the world we'd live
Oh,
in if you were like if that was your job. They milked you and they turned your milk into cheese, and then
I
I
would do
ate
that
it,
job.
and I
I
put it
would
on
do
my
that job.
spaghetti. That would be a real it would be a real weird world, but I think that if that was the norm, if we talked about pulling on a cow's titty and turning the cow's milk into cheese and putting that on our spaghetti,
Yeah,
we'd
like
probably think that's weird too. That's
the
weird.
cow's titty, which we all know now is milk. But at the time, the dude was rolling a dangerous dice where he was like, I'm going to just drink it, guys. It came out of this animal, it came out of something, and I'm going to lick it and drink it. Like, that is so weird. But now we have milk and ice cream. So I guess salute to that guy.
Amen to that guy.
Mhm.
The big news that came out today as we're recording this, I was telling you before we got on here, and you had no idea that this had
I had
even
no
happened, but
idea.
this is big news, especially in the travel industry, and I know a lot of people in my industry that travel a lot, and so people are freaking out right now, but Southwest Airlines,
Mhm.
they're the one airline that's just a little bit different, and there's 2 reasons that they're a little bit different. Reason number 1 is they don't charge for bags. You get to take your first 2 bags for free, and I don't know if you've flown a different airline, but dude, it's
It's rough.
crazy how much they charge for bags. I tried to book a flight recently on I think it was, either it was Frontier, and the bags to take 2 bags, for 1 for me and 1 for my wife, was gonna cost more than the ticket itself.
That's how they do it. They do that's
That's
how
crazy. So
because people
Southwest is awesome because they don't charge you.
right, because, like, Frontier will be, like, $20 round trip, and
No,
you'll
it's
be
way
like,
more than that.
"Hell yeah," and then, you get there and, "Oh,
Oh, the
there's a fee
bags,
for
yeah.
that, and there's a fee for that, and there's a
Mhm.
fee," and before you know it, you're like, "I shoulda just flown United," and,
But United charges you for bags now too. They all do. It's Southwest's thing where they don't, and it's nice to know, like, I like knowing all in. Like, if my flight is $200 to get from here to wherever I'm going, I like to know that it's 200 bucks. That's how much I'm gonna pay. I'm not gonna get charged for my seat, and I'm not gonna get charged for my bag and my carry-on and all that stuff, but it's that way with all the airlines except for Southwest, which is why one of the reasons I like them. That's the first reason they separate themselves. The second reason is the reason that they're in the news today, though, is because they've always been the airline where there's no signed seats. You
yeah.
you get in line based on how fast you check in or how much status you have, and then you pick any seat that's available. And
Mhm.
people have gotten used to that. Like, I like it. And they got rid of that today. It's gone. They're going to start assigning seats.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't mind that at all. I actually haven't I don't think I think maybe once or twice I've flown Southwest. It's always been Frontier for a long time. Like when Frontier had the animals, that was such a charming idea and ad, and it was so adorable. And then it became a corporate shithole. But I used to fly Frontier, and now we just fly United because we get points, and that's how we use them. But um, I haven't flown Southwest, so the whole idea is foreign to me that you would just walk on and be like, "Front row." Like, what?
I mean, you usually don't get to get the front row unless you have a shit ton of points like you're talking about because the people who do are the first ones on, so they get the front row. But then you get on and you get to pick your seat. Uh, for my wife hates flying, and we fly Southwest usually when we go. And sometimes if you don't check in time, you get like towards the back of the line and you're stuck with just
Ooh.
picking whatever's left. And then we don't get to sit together and she's mad at me. So I guess I don't
And I
have to
have a
worry about
feeling
that.
you just put, like, an eye cover on and just fall asleep, and she's having, like, a panic attack.
You
Like
may have read the room right.
Yeah, no,
Anyway,
I
it's
know
the
it,
end
right?
of an era, and I would assume, if I have to guess, if they're getting rid of that, the next thing that's probably gonna happen is they're gonna start charging people for bags. So, the days of free bags on the last airline that offers free baggage probably coming to an end sooner than later.
And you know what's so crazy is you used to get, like, free soft drinks, and they would go around and give you, like, free snacks,
They
and
still
now
do
that's
on
such
Southwest.
do they?
Mhm.
Now it's like you gotta buy it, and it is like a trail mix pack, and it is like 13.99, and you get like 5 chocolate covered almonds and some salami and cheese, and god dang it, that sounds so good, so then you get it, and then you eat it really fast, and that's it, but, I mean, like, I think flying at one time was probably so charming and amazing and cool, and now it's just like people show up with their trash bags full of shit they're taking to Vegas, and I have no that's totally fine, but I'm just saying, like, wow, that's something that's gone backwards.
Do you know what else is a problem? All the flights, they can't stay on schedule anymore. You would think
Yeah,
with technology, it would be better as we go, but it seems to be getting worse. The last 5 times I've flown, I think, there there have been at least a small delay on all
yeah.
of my flights, there and back. This last time, both flights were delayed more than 2 hours each time, and I look around at all the other gates, and every other flight is delayed as well. I'm just like, "Dude, what are you doing? How is it always jacked up now?" In my early years of flying, I feel like it was always on time. Like you had a 5 o'clock flight, your flight left at 5 o'clock, and now it's never on time. And I wonder what they've done to jack that up.
I don't know, but, like, the last family vacation we went on a few months ago, it was an early morning. It was like we got up at 3 AM because from where I live, it's about an hour, a little over an hour drive to the airport, so we got up so early to get the first flight. There was an 8-hour delay. 8? And the whole
Why?
time I'm there, I'm like, "Oh, you could still be home in bed, or I could have taken my time packing today and not been in a frenzy." And you just think, "What the" and
I
there's
get
nothing you
it.
can do.
Sometimes there's weather, sometimes there's maintenance issues and things like that. Those things are going to happen from time to time, but sometimes it's just like delayed.
Yeah.
It's just delayed. There's no reason that we're just delayed. The flight attendants didn't show up. I had that
Yeah.
one once. They're not here yet. Did they not get the memo that this flight left at 5? Because I did, and I got here. Why can't they? They're getting paid.
If they're getting on and saying, "We are running late," one of the flight attendants did not come in today. I mean, like, and that has happened. My mom used to be a flight attendant for Frontier, and that like, that totally happened because you don't make a ton of money doing that for the most part, and I don't think I think that they're not treated very well by not only probably management, but also, I think passengers. We're, like, in a new time now where people tell cops to F off, and they are
Mhm.
rude to, people who are in service, and it's ridiculous, so she got out of the biz, but, I remember her telling me that, like, people just won't show up. Now, if you do that, you're fired on the spot, the end, but they can't find people to fill those jobs.
Yeah, I wouldn't wanna do it. The last time I flew, I had an experience that happened to me for the first time. I've been on hundreds and hundreds of flights, and this had never happened to me before, but it happened, and it actually happened to Shannon and not me, but our flight got
Poor
delayed by
Shannon again.
our flight got delayed, like, 4 or 5 hours, and it was a night flight anyway, so it was already late,
Yeah.
And so we get in, we land at DIA coming home, and the coming home flight's always the worst flight because vacation's over and it just
Yeah,
sucks.
you're not on that
And
high where you're like,
no.
"I'll take a drink on it's 10 AM, but whatever, we're going to Cancun."
Right, no, yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to work tomorrow, and so it just sucks. It's all somber. Our flight's delayed for 5 hours. We land at DIA at 2 AM. I'm tired. I wanna go to bed. We get to the baggage claim. It takes forever for the bags to get there these days too. They finally get there. Mine comes right away. Everybody slowly gets theirs, and next thing you know, there's no more bags. Everyone's gone.
Oh,
Shannon's bag's gone. So we go up to the lady because there's like a little stand right there.
poor
It's 2 in the
shit.
morning and she doesn't want to be working clearly. And so
Yeah.
I go to this lady and she's like, "Oh yeah, they called up here a little while ago and one of the bags fell off in what they called the tunnel. I don't know what the tunnel is, but it fell off in the tunnel. And so it's got to be your bag. And they said they were going to send it up here on a different flight, like when they send more bags. But I can't remember what flight that was that they were going to send it up on or what baggage claim." And so she calls over her partner. She's like, "Hey, you remember they called up here a little while ago? They said a bag fell off in the tunnel. What flight was that going to come up on?" And she's like, "Oh, I do remember that, but I can't remember what flight either." And they start laughing like
And,
it's a
like,
big
by
joke.
the way,
I'm
you're
like,
so tired, you're like,
"Dude,
"Please, God."
it's 3 in the morning and you're like having fun with the whole fact that our bag's gone and they told you and you can't remember. I'm about to come over and strangle you." And I was like, "So what do we do?" And they were like, "Oh, there's an office for lost bags over there. You're just gonna have to go talk to them." So I
And you
go
have
over
to
there,
walk, like, 62 miles and
dude.
you're thinking, "I'm never going home."
I went in there ready to fire somebody's ass, and
Mm,
and this lady
Max
comes out,
Powers.
and this lady, I hate to be prejudiced, but she looked grumpy. She looked like she was probably not a very nice person. That's the
Okay.
best way I can describe her, and she comes out, and I was like, "This is gonna be a fun experience," and she was the sweetest angel we've ever met. She
Oh.
went to bat for us, and she was like, "I'm gonna go search all the baggage claims for you, and we're gonna find it." Well, she does, no bag, can't find it,
Oh.
so she was like, "Alright, we'll deliver it to you tomorrow, we're gonna find it, we'll deliver it to you tomorrow, but we'll give you a voucher too, like a flight voucher
Oh.
for your troubles." And we were like, "Thank you." So we fill out all this paperwork, get the voucher, and she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go look one more time just to make sure at all the baggage claims." And we're like, "All right, we wanna leave. Fine,
Yeah,
just bring
like,
us our bag tomorrow."
just
And
keep everything.
here she comes running and she's got it. So, and I was like, "Well, here's your voucher back, I guess." And she's like, "No, keep it." So, I mean, it sucked. I
Oh.
wouldn't do it again for a free flight voucher, but that was nice of them. And she was an angel and it was cool, but it was a bad experience. Not fun.
We used to fly out of a tiny little, airport that was right down the road from us, and I remember getting on a flight to Vegas and the flight attendant was drunk. And I mean, I don't even know, but it was like such a rickety little it wasn't a big United. It wasn't a big so I'm assuming the rules are the same for all, but maybe they're just not as tight about it because she was like kind of bouncing around a little and the plane wasn't moving, so, she's swaying, and I thought, "Oh my god, I hope she wasn't drinking with a pilot." I don't care if you don't get me some water right away if you're shit-faced, but if you're flying the plane, I need to give you some sort of, like, test, roadside test, but, it was fine, we got to Vegas and whatever. We survived. She was
That's good.
drunk. I hope she got a good nap in the back.
Honestly, I don't care if the pilots are drunk anymore anyways. We've talked about this, but I think that those planes basically fly themselves. I think you just plug in, you type in, "Hey, we're in Denver. We want to go to Las Vegas. Hey, plane, take us there." And the plane does the work.
Yeah,
And
I think that's true
it's
too.
probably the most boring job on the history of the planet because you don't actually have to do anything. I think the pilots are only there in case something goes bad. And then you
And
hope you
that
have Captain
sucks.
Sully so he can land it in the Hudson River.
Yeah, no doubt, and not the drunk people, yeah, that we've encountered. Um,
There's been a lot of small plane crashes around here lately. There was one here recently I told you about that landed right on the highway. It landed right on I-25, which is the biggest highway in Colorado, and right on the route that I drive to work. All the signs on the side of the highway were taken off because the wings clipped it all as it was
Sean's like
landing on the highway.
Sean's like, "First I didn't brush my teeth, now there's a plane on the road. Damn it."
I didn't get to see it, luckily, because that would have freaked me the hell out. Yesterday, though, because now I think about it, yesterday there was a helicopter as I was going home, and it was flying like straight path on the highway, and it was lowering, it was coming down a little bit, like a big helicopter, one of those military ones with all the different wings, And I was like, this thing's going to land on the highway.
Yeah.
What are you supposed how at what point as a driver do you realize that this aircraft is trying to land on the highway and you should stop? Or do you just like wait and let it?
Depends on where you're going and if it's about to close.
I cer
'Cause yeah.
You don't want to get hit
So
by
did
one of
the
them
did the
things.
air did it land on the
It
road?
was going the opposite way, like it was coming towards me and down as it was coming towards me, and it just kept going the other way and coming down.
So Shawn just slid right through.
I slid right through. I got lucky. I don't know if this thing landed on the highway or not. I didn't see it on the news.
Let's end it there, Shawn. What a great day this has been for us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to Cristiana Salon and Spa for being our show sponsor. And also Casey's Pest Control Services. Go to caseysPestControlServices.com and be sure to check out our social media for the pet of the week. And if you want to adopt that pet, you can do that, Shawn. We have all the info on how to do that. And like I said, we post one every week. Thanks to our friends at Casey's Pest Control Services, Shawn. To go
Time
take
for
a
a nap.
nap.
Okay,
Okay,
bye.
goodbye.